Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Gerard Pratt, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Squadron Leader Gregory Baker-Moss. We warmly welcome the family of Lieutenant Herman Edgar Mengersen, whose story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those who are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony from across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, all beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains that let us sing, advance Australia fair.
If able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through until the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Lieutenant Herman Edgar Mengersen. Herman Mengersen was born on the 7th of December 1893 in Palmer, South Australia. One of 7 children born to Henry and Emile Mengersen. He received his education at Adelaide's Handorf Academy and later at Palmer State School. He began work in his hometown as a storekeeper. Herman Mengersen enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 13th of May 1915 at the age of 21. His brother Charles had enlisted some months earlier, and remaining brothers, Erwin and Norman, would enlist shortly after. Assigned to the 25th Battalion, he embarked from Brisbane on board the troop ship Aeneas at the end of June 1915. Arriving on the Gallipoli Peninsula in September 1915, he was promoted to corporal. And after the peninsula was evacuated in November, Mengersen travelled to France when, in August 1916, he was commissioned to second lieutenant. Shortly afterwards, Mengersen became ill and was sent to England, where he spent several months in hospital. Following his recovery, he took on administrative duties until rejoining his battalion in May 1917. On rejoining his unit, Mengersen was again in the firing line during the Battle of Menin Road, part of the larger offensive known as the Third Battle of Ypres, or Passchendaele. Tasked with taking the high ground along the ridge that intersected with Menin Road, advancing infantry faced well-entrenched German defensive positions, including concrete bunkers and barbed wire. Though the attack was largely successful, it did not come without cost. By the end of the battle, more than 5,000 casualties had been sustained across the 2 participating divisions. Herman Mengersen was leading his company in an attack on the morning of September 20th, when he was severely wounded by a shell blast. He was evacuated to an advanced dressing station, but little could be done for him. Treated for his wounds over 2 days before he finally succumbed to his injuries on the 22nd of September 1917. He was 24 years old. Lieutenant Herman Mengersen was buried at the Menin Road South Military Cemetery in Belgium, beneath the words chosen by his bereft family. Honoured by all who knew him and beloved by those who were his friends. His name is listed on the roll of honour on my right, amongst 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Lieutenant Herman Edgar Mengersen, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres, or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor tired senses belly working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you all for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.